Before we spend money on a home repair, we usually spend time thinking about what we want to change. The room that's always cold, condensation that shows up every winter, drafts near the window, energy bills that just never seem to improve. We notice the symptom and we start looking for a fix. That makes sense. It's how most of us make decisions. But sometimes the decision starts narrowing before we fully understand what the house is responding to. Think about how often this happens outside of houses. You have a rough day on the golf course. Your drives keep slicing. Your irons aren't landing where you expect. Nothing feels quite right. And almost immediately, you start looking for an explanation. Maybe I need new clubs. Maybe these irons aren't forgiving enough. Maybe it's time for a different driver. But if the swing is the problem, you could buy a new driver, and the next time, just slice the ball further into the woods. Sometimes you're right, but sometimes the thing you noticed first wasn't where the problem started. The signal is real, but your first explanation wasn't the whole story. Houses have a way of doing that too. They give us signals. The challenge is figuring out whether we're looking at the problem or looking at the place where the problem finally became visible. Houses react in different ways. Drafts, condensation, cold rooms, high energy bills, moisture showing up where it shouldn't. The symptoms look different. The pattern underneath is often surprisingly similar. A house reacts. We notice it. Then we try to understand what it means. The challenge is that houses don't always reveal problems where they started. Sometimes the window reacted first. Sometimes the room became uncomfortable first. Sometimes the energy bill changed first. Sometimes moisture showed up first. The visible symptom isn't necessarily wrong. It's just not always the full explanation. That's why two houses can have the same upgrade and end with very different outcomes. Hidden conditions matter. Things we don't immediately see. Air movement, moisture movement, insulation levels, ventilation, how different parts of the house interact. Sequencing matters. The right improvement at the wrong time can still create disappointing results. Scope matters. Changing one part of a struggling house doesn't automatically improve the whole system. The good news is the difference between a project people regret and a project that you recommend to your friends usually isn't a completely different budget. It's often a few better decisions made before the work ever starts. A question that got asked, a condition that got noticed, an opportunity that didn't get overlooked. A project scope broadened just enough. Small decisions, big difference in outcome. And maybe most importantly, the way we frame the decision matters. Because the question isn't always, what should I buy? Sometimes the better question is, what is the house trying to tell me? That one question can completely change where the decision goes next. Most disappointing upgrades aren't disappointing because the product failed. They're disappointing because we solved the symptom before we fully understood the pattern. And the houses that perform the best, usually the ones where understanding happened before fixing, where the house was listened to before decisions were made. Because the biggest difference between regret and relief is often just a little more understanding before the work starts. Follow along if you want to make better home upgrade decisions before spending money. This is Passive House for the People.